But there were people who Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not approached. He wanted Nityananda Prabhu and Thakur Haridas to reach everyone. And he told them, do not discriminate who is fit or who is unfit. And Nityananda Prabhu, please understand, he was an ascetic. He was in a renounced order of life since he was 12 years old. And he was going house to house, person to person. And when they would see an ascetic, a renunciate coming to their house, they all knew what they wanted. Some donation. Isn't that what Swamis do when they come to your house? Now in those days, there were many ascetics, and it was a common thing. Pious people would just take a handful of rice and put it in their bag, and they'd go house to house and get a few handfuls of rice, and then they would eat that day. When Nityananda Prabhu came, they said, oh, another ascetic, okay, here's the rice. And he would fold his palms with tears in his eyes. Say, I don't want anything from you. I don't want your rice. I only want to give you something. What? You've come in as a beggar to give me something? He said, yes. I've come to give you this blessing. Please, do this one thing for me. Chant the names of Krishna. Worship Krishna. Don't you understand that the highest bliss that you're always looking for, birth after birth, is within your own heart? It's your love for God. This chanting of the holy names will awaken your love for God. Krishna has appeared as Lord Gauranga to give this greatest of all benedictions. Take the name of Krishna. Be grateful to Krishna and make your life perfect. That's all I ask of you. Some people were very suspicious, but he was so sincere that he melted their hearts. Other people, they refused. Who are you, a beggar, to tell me what to do? At that time, Nityananda, who's the supreme absolute truth, the creator of all the universes, the God of the Bible who throws thunderbolts and destroys civilizations, who can condemn you to suffering or enjoyment, the source of the avatars that we read about, like Narasimhadev or Balaram. And here he is, in his original form, begging envious, corrupt people, please be happy and take the name of God. You see, Nityananda Prabhu's mood was for everyone, but he especially focused on the people who were in the worst condition, who were the most corrupt and sinful. Just like the body, when the body is injured, then the maximum energy of the whole body goes to that injured part. Yes, that's the way God made the body. If you sprain your finger, then the maximum energy of your whole body is going to be to bring blood and bring so much energy to heal that wound. In the same way, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, wherever there was the worst problem in human consciousness, they were focused on putting the maximum energy there. And some people, to Lord Nityananda, oh, who are you telling me what to do? Out from here. And Haridas and Nityananda were getting a really bad reputation. People were spreading horrible rumors. Don't let them come to your house. They're thieves, they're robbers, they're hypocrites. Who do they think they are? They're coming to your house, they're looking inside to see what you have, and then at night they'll come and beat you and rob you. And here is the Lord. Such horrible accusations and blasphemies and rumors against him. But they carried on. Lochan Das Thakur explains, to such people, Lord Nityananda would fall at their feet and he'd roll around like a golden mountain in the dust with tears in his eyes, begging, whatever you say, I don't mind. But it breaks my heart to see you forgetting the jewel of your life. Chant the holy names. And then when they met Jagai and Madhai, we won't tell the whole story. Is there a reason they turned the air conditioner off? I'm just trying to be in the mood of Nityananda, not wanting to see everyone suffer. 1,000 people in this small room is tapasya. So they saw this Jagai and Madhai, and please understand, these were terrible, terrible people. And Nityananda and Haridas saw them, drunk state. Every sentence that they spoke had several, what we would call four-letter words. Nasty language. They were violent. Nityananda and Haridas found out that they were murderers, they were thieves, they would burn people's house. Every day they would rape innocent women, and no one could stop them because they actually had government power. The Chand Kazi actually gave them powers. They practically ruled over Nadia. People were extremely, wherever they made their camp, people were terrified, and nobody could stop them. And they had a whole crew of vicious, killing bandits. And Nityananda Prabhu approached them and asked them, I hate to see you suffering like this. Just take the name of Krishna and be happy. Krishna is your mother, Krishna is your father, Krishna is your life and soul. Now Jagai and Madhai were tantrics, black tantrics. According to historians, when the Mughals invaded India, most Hindus were very, very non-violent kind of people. So this black tantricism was very much promoted among certain places to make people really harsh and violent. And their particular religion was to drink intoxication, to eat, to slaughter animals and eat their flesh and blood, to have all sorts of obscene violations of sexual relationships. It was meant to make people very, very passionate, very violent, and very cruel, so that those people would actually stand up against other cruel people. So please understand, in those days, these black tantrics, They were powerful, dangerous, and vicious. And Jagai and Madhai were the kings. They would slaughter people. Anyone they didn't like, immediately they'd kill them, and nobody could say anything. And their sense gratification was to come to your house when you're sleeping and light it on fire and watch it burn, and anyone inside. Horrible people. And they hated Vaishnavas because they considered Vaishnavas to be degrading society. Because these black tantrics, they were proud of being powerful, violent, harsh men. And they considered Vaishnavism made men feminine. All this humble stuff. Being humble and forgiving and gentle and honest and pious. How will we ever conquer our invaders if people are like this? So literally, they hated Vaishnavas. They consider it one of the greatest threats for people to become Vaishnavas. So here's Nityananda Prabhu telling them to chant Krishna's name, which is Vaishnava. So they were very mad, very angry. But we know the story. Nityananda kept coming back, even though they chased them and threatened to kill them. And eventually, Nityananda went back again, and Madhai picked up a big pot, and with all of his strength, and he was really strong, he smashed Nityananda Prabhu on the forehead with it. And blood started gushing over his eyes, drenching his clothes. And Nityananda Prabhu was trying to hold the blood, but then he just looked up at Madhai. It doesn't hurt me that you hit my head, but it hurts me that you're going to have to suffer so much. Just take the name of Krishna. Give up these activities of yours. When Lord Chaitanya heard about this with an army of devotees, he approached and called for his Sudarshan Chakra. But let me tell you a secret about Nityananda Prabhu that our acharyas reveal. When he got hit on the head, he was specially in ecstasy. The reason? Because Madhai wouldn't listen to Nityananda Prabhu. But Nityananda Prabhu never considered that he had the power to deliver anyone. He considered the entire power was from Lord Chaitanya. This was his mood in the role of a devotee. That I'm just giving Lord Chaitanya's instruction, and that instruction is all-powerful. And by giving these instructions, I can connect them to Lord Gauranga, and Lord Gauranga could deliver anyone and everyone to the highest platform of spiritual love. Now Jagai and Madhai refused. Nityananda Prabhu, there's nothing I can do for them. But then when he was hit on the head, and really hard, and it was bleeding, he was ecstatic. Because he knew that now Lord Chaitanya is going to personally come to deliver them. And his strategy worked. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and Nityananda Prabhu's feeling was when Mahaprabhu comes, he has to come when his own devotee is bleeding like this. And he's going to come before them, and they're going to surrender to him. And then my Lord is going to give them pure love of God. But something happened. When Lord Chaitanya came, Madhai did not surrender to him. So Lord Chaitanya, with a red, cold, angry eyes, he called for his Sudarshan chakra, and the chakra came, and this is the chakra of universal destruction appeared on Lord Chaitanya's hand. And Nityananda Prabhu, he said to Lord Chaitanya, because he knew Lord Chaitanya's heart. Here Lord Chaitanya is appearing to be in such an angry mood, he wants to kill these people. But Nityananda prays to him. Actually, in previous avatars, in previous incarnations, you did these things to the most sinful people. But in this incarnation, we don't do this. We forgive them and give them pure love of God and make them happy. But that didn't work. Then Nityananda Prabhu said, actually, it doesn't even hurt. To be honest with you, Madhai accidentally hit me. He didn't really mean it. And it's just a slight cut, and it doesn't hurt. But that didn't work either. Then he said, but he would have killed me, but Jagai stopped him. You see, his hand is holding Madhai's hand. He stopped him from hurting me. He saved me. And then Lord Chaitanya, oh, Jagai, you helped my devotee. I will give you love of God today. And the chakra disappeared. And then Madhai, his heart changed. And he said, please give me love of God too. And Nityananda said, if I've done anything to please you in my life, I don't ask anything in return except this. Give love of God to Madhai and forgive him. That's all I ask of you. And Lord Chaitanya said to Madhai, he was very much afraid. He said, you just gave my brother love of God. Whatever I did, he did, so give it to me too. He said, you have hurt Nityananda. Turn to him. Only he can save you. And he fell at Nityananda's feet, and Nityananda gave him to Lord Chaitanya, and they both gave him a simple instruction. Just stop causing harm to others. Be humble, grateful, and live by a pure lifestyle, and chant the names of God. And when they agreed to do that, he gave them the highest perfection. Dina hina yata chilo harinamu dharilo tara sakshi jagai madhai. Just by giving them God's names, he gave the two most notorious gangsters such humble lives of love. So much so that Jagai and Madhai, all they wanted to do for the rest of their lives was just serve others and love others. So this was Lord Nityananda Prabhu. I'll tell a few more instances of how the Lord knew, how Nityananda Prabhu knew Lord Chaitanya's compassionate heart. After the Lord took sannyas, he was going to Vrindavan. But Nityananda Prabhu knew in his heart that Lord Chaitanya wanted to give pleasure to his devotees who were so much in anguish because he left home. So he had a little cowherd boy give Lord Chaitanya the wrong directions to send him in the opposite way back to meet his devotees. Lord Chaitanya chastised him. But it's really what the Lord wanted. And Devamrita Maharaj talked about this breaking of the danda. Nityananda Prabhu was asked to hold the danda when Mahaprabhu was going to have darshan of Kopiteshwar Mahadev. And he looked at the danda and he said, "The very Lord who I carry in my heart is carrying you. This is not right." He broke it in 3 places. And Lord Chaitanya appeared angry, but actually it's what the Lord wanted. And then there was the king Prataparudra. Because Lord Chaitanya was a sannyasi, one in renunciation. And in those days there was very strict cultural principles. Today they're not so much. But if a renunciate, a Swami, mixes with people who are in very high material positions, then people will think that they're after their money. Or they're after some enjoyment. So Lord Chaitanya would not meet. And the king, Prataparudra, he wanted so much to see Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya, to show this external example of the proper etiquette, he refused to see the king. And the king decided, I'll give up my kingdom and become a beggar if I can get the mercy of the Lord. But Nityananda knew his heart. And he started making all arrangements. He brought some cloth of the Lord to the king. He brought the Lord's son. And ultimately, he arranged for the Lord to meet the king in a very special way. Similarly, when Kal Krishna Das was an assistant of the Lord who engaged in immoral activities and betrayed the Lord while they were traveling. He abandoned the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya said to Kal Krishna Das, or he said to the devotees when they returned to Puri, I don't want to see him. He can go anywhere he wants. So Lord Nityananda went out of his way to give him service. Now what is it that he was doing? He was doing what Lord Chaitanya in his heart wanted to do. So simultaneously, they are one person, serving the same purpose in different ways. In these instances, Lord Chaitanya is teaching the principle that people have to follow, and Lord Nityananda is showing his mercy. Chota Haridas. Lord Chaitanya was very strong on Chota Haridas for improper behavior. But Nityananda Prabhu was always begging Lord Chaitanya, please be kind to him. Always trying to encourage him. Because the feminine energy, the feminine nature of God is all forgiving, all kind, all compassionate, the Supreme Mother. And this was the spirit of Radharani that Mahaprabhu was manifesting in his compassionate side. And Nityananda Prabhu, as his most intimate associate, was the very instrument of that compassion. The soul of every living being is pure. The soul of every living being is intimately loved by God. Nityananda Prabhu saw everything on that platform. And interestingly, our beloved Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, how similar his mission was to Lord Nityananda's. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati in 1922 gave Prabhupada practically the same instruction as Lord Chaitanya gave to Lord Nityananda. Go to the West and without discrimination give love of God in the English language all over the world. Who's ever given an instruction like that before? And in the spirit of Nityananda Prabhu, Prabhupada took that as his life and soul, and he went. And just as Nityananda Prabhu was like a beggar, an ascetic beggar going house to house, Srila Prabhupada arrived in New York City with no money whatsoever. He didn't know anyone. Just an instrument of the compassion of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So it is that mercy it is that kindness of Nityananda that's so perfectly and fully manifested through Srila Prabhupada's heart. And that is what touched our lives, all of us here today, to bring us such joy, such hope, and such love. On this holy day, let us pray. Nitai pada kamala koti chandra shushitala ye chayaya jagata chudai. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are most refreshingly cool, like tens and millions of moons. And one who takes shelter receives shade from the scorching heat of material existence. If we are just grateful for this gift of God's love coming through Nityananda and Srila Prabhupada, then our hearts will be a fertile field for that love to grow. And not only transform our own lives, but we can be instruments to transform so many other lives through the chanting of the holy name. Thank you very much.